Hello, everybody. It is the final recorded episode of TF of 2024, and we are reviewing November's shirt.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going? Yeah, the thing is, I just logged onto the call wearing a totally normal shirt that I got from my wardrobe where I keep my shirts. And then Riley decided to make this a whole thing.
I just think it's cool. I think it's cool that they give those out at Shenyang.
Yeah. So do you want to read off my shirt, Riley?
Well, yeah, of course. I lost my virginity at the China Before Communism Shenyang 2022 Performing Arts Show, and I think it's cool. Number one, that they provide like an area for it, or is it part of the show? Do they get you on a trapeze?
Well, it's like, can we get a volunteer from the audience up here type thing, and then you lose your virginity on a trapeze.
Yeah, of course.
To a guy who is affiliated with the Falun Gong.
Yeah, of course. What they do is they don't actually show it because it's not an adult show. A bunch of copies of the Epoch Times just like open and then cover you.
That's what a ticker tape parade is, but like, Shenyang style.
Guy losing his virginity at Shenyang. No, it's a fine way to lose your virginity. I just didn't think it would be Chinese. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hello everybody. You might be wondering, hey, why are they talking about November's shirt? I'll tell you, because I decided, like many podcasts do around Christmas, where we don't want to take away your weekly free episode.
You were like, let's take a day off, right? Let's do something that has a lower workload. And the lower workload in this case was making all of us watch a 2-hour film instead of doing like a 20-minute phone call.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, first of all.
250 million.
It's 2 hours, 4 minutes, and believe me, I counted all of them.
I watched it while I was making sausage rolls, while I was saving Christmas for Annabelle's mum, who can't cook.
You know how much it costs per minute of red one?
Oh, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, hundreds of thousands. Okay, let me try this. 1.5 million per minute.
That's actually more than Megalopolis, which came in at about $1 million a minute.
Yeah. You could have given me the budget of this movie and I would have engaged in debauchery unseen since like some of the worst Roman emperors.
Yeah, you would have. Look, Nero could fiddle while Rome burned. You're gonna play a theremin while London is like dissolved in acid.
I'm demolishing large parts of Zone 1 to build a new golden palace for myself if you give me the amount of money it took to make Red 1.
Yeah, that's right.
Red. I mean, I've seen this movie advertised buses on like pre-roll for other films. It is ubiquitous.
You were effectively
and
marketed to.
Yeah, well, unless this specifically was being marketed to people who sometimes watch bad movies for content, then I guess their campaign worked. I don't know if it's gonna make them back their $1.5 million a minute.
It's sort of the Kamala thing, right? Of being like, we're gonna do very efficient use of resources in that we're going to chase a very narrow margin that we think is going to be decisive. But where for Kamala, it was like, racist suburbanites. For Red 1, it was people with podcasts.
Yeah, we're going to get, by making the movie really bad, really expensive, and then advertising it everywhere, we will get dozens of extra streams that we would not have otherwise have had.
I would say this is going to be a movie with a high podcast to watch ratio. Like the number of podcasts made about the experience of watching this film is going to be remarkably close to the number of viewers.
I sometimes wonder about what my media diet is doing to my perception of the world.
I actively resent you for putting this in my algorithm is the thing, because now every Christmas for the rest of my life, as long as we have electricity, whatever algorithm is running on that electricity is going to be like, it seems like you like a dog shit Christmas movie. Would you like to watch the one we made this year?
Would you like to watch Red 2?
There'll always be a new one.
Red 2 about Santa's vice president.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I mean, so we watched Red 1, the $250 million, like they tried to feed a Marvel movie through a Hallmark card.
Yes. The other thing is, when you say we watched Red 1, I watched Red 1. I did a close reading of the text because this podcast makes enough money that I feel, perhaps wrongly, that I owe the hogs a duty of professionalism, even in the jerk-off holiday episodes.
How much does this podcast cost to make per minute?
Yeah. Oh, God. But if you give us a Red One budget, you see what we do with it. It's the same thing, but we're all wearing mink coats. It's otherwise identical.
It's like, how did you get I Lost My Virginity at Shenyang Performing Arts Show embroidered into a mink coat? It's really bad for the mink.
Yeah.
Well, I guess being made into a coat is really bad for the mink.
It's the same podcast, but we're doing it in space or like from like a base under the sea. Like I feel the mink coats is not, we could make some cutbacks and get mink coats.
Well, the thing is, right, it would be completely the same for a while, except all of our backgrounds on the Zencaster call, instead of being like our rooms, would be Tahiti or Aruba or wherever, or Ustad. And then we would engage in like a process that's very, very familiar to people who like British comedy of my favorite comedian has become too successful and is now grotesquely out of touch and tries to do like a relatable bit about the cost of living crisis and doesn't know how much a pint of milk costs.
Hey, well, the price of quail's eggs in Aruba has gone through the roof.
Yeah. Of course, bird flu is a real concern in the Aruba quail population. Dozens of them have been killed.
Some of my mates have gotten bird flu from the quail's eggs in Aruba. It's no joke.
The podcast kind of flips, and instead of making fun of Lex Greensill for hunting the most dangerous game, we're trying to do funny and relatable bits about hunting the most dangerous game with Lex Greensill.
Look, I'm in touch. I don't just stay in Aruba. I go to Curacao.
we start being like, look, we were really unfair about Lex Greensill. His business was dumb, but he's a cool guy to hang out with, and he always lets you use his gun.
Yeah, and those guys are really hard to catch.
It's true.
It's super hard to hunt the most dangerous. You're getting really like whiny about hunting the most dangerous game.
That's why they call it the most dangerous game. You know?
I hate it when they choose spear.
Like, this is so hard. I'm tired. I just want to go back to the big house and drink the nice wine. Why are we hunting the most dangerous game? It's stupid.
Why can't they always get the Battle Royale joke weapons instead of the actual ones and the Battle Royale joke ones only some of the time?
Yeah.
It's the worst thing when you're hunting the most dangerous game on Boxing Day and then the anti-most dangerous game protesters are there and they're, you're having to get off your horse and talk to them.
Yeah.
A most dangerous game hunt Sab.
Yeah, but they're all foxes. Right? They're like, look, this is solidarity. They did it for us.
Yeah.
This is like the end of Pride. Only one union voted against the most dangerous game, the National Union of Foxes.
Look, so last idea. Give us $250,000. We're gonna make November's shirt real. We're gonna make it refer to a real event.
Hold on a second.
You can lose your virginity at Shenyang. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, yeah, a few things here. Aside from Shenyang having a vote in this, I imagine I've already lost my virginity. It says on the shirt. Are you gonna put it back in and then get me to lose it again?
Okay. All right.
Just like funding my GRS and being like, by the way, we do need a hymen in there. To be absolutely clear, this is for a comedy show.
Yeah, we need a hymen in there for a bit. Come on. It's to do with Shenyang.
Making GRS tax deductible because it's for a bit.
Yeah.
Running that through the accountants.
Explaining to a weary surgeon the concept of the like comedy bit we're trying to do here.
No, you don't understand. Shenyang, it's like put on by the... Okay, do you know about the Epoch Times? Just like keep going back and back and back.
Okay, so it's kind of like Cirque du Soleil, except if it was all Chinese expats.
Yeah. It's basically, it's like what if the CIA started Cirque du Soleil, basically?
Again.
They started Cirque du Soleil to get all of the most nimble FLQ guys, like unfit for fighting. They were just
arming, funding, and training moderate gymnasts in Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, we got the most 1970s Quebecois liberation extremists, and we gave them a trapeze. All they needed was a gentle nudge. It was one of the most efficient.
I think this is an infinite jest, to be honest.
Anyway, we're going to talk about Red One.
Do we have to? I really don't want to. I didn't like it.
Well, you did make your close reading notes of it, and I also made notes of it, and I wanted to know what yours are. What I found is there are the Act 1, the Act 1 ends with the line, which I can't...
Don't dignify this with an act structure. It's a series of scenes.
There was no perceptible structure.
I describe it as it's you know what it is? It makes sense that the writer of this movie was also the writer of Jumanji, which is basically when you watch it, just to see a series of things happening until they stop.
I mean, we've had a lot of movies like adapted from theme park rides, but not all of them feel like them. Yeah. This one does.
What I predicted 2 lines from this movie. They're at the beginning of my notes. One of them is, so are you telling me Santa Claus has been kidnapped? That's the first one. And the second one is, did we just save Christmas? Yeah, I think we saved Christmas. And they both happened. They both are in the movie.
The real epic Joss Whedon shit in here, it has to be said. It's very like, so that just happened.
That's the Marvel thing, really. What we're talking about is someone put the Avengers movie through a Hallmark card and then created Red One.
Yeah, it's real bad.
It would have been better to cross over The Rock with a Hallmark movie, in the sense that, like, you know, The Rock has to go back to his hometown, and he's gone away from his big movie job in LA, and he's just like, you know, he's depressed. He needs to find the real meaning of Christmas, and then he meets a big strapping fireman, and they have loads of gay sex, and they organize a bake sale in the town that, you know, saves the church or something. That would have been fun.
I'd watch that. Yeah. That'd be a better movie than this.
Yeah.
What you've just pitched me, Milo, again, is a version of the Nicolas Cage movie where he plays himself that came out 2 years ago, but with The Rock and Christmas.
Kind of, basically. Yeah.
Just give this amount of money. Yeah. Like, you know how Obama does the playlist of movies he wants you to think were cool this year?
Yeah.
We just give The Rock this amount of money to do The Rock Presents each of those movies every year. This is a kind of anthology, you know?
Wait, are you saying like we want to have The Rock like remake?
It's pastiche, yeah. I want to see. I want to not just see the movie, but then I want to see the like Merry Rockmas from The Rock version of that movie.
The Rock does Conclave Clump style.
Yes,
yeah, he's playing every single one of the Cardinals.
I want to see The Rock's Conclave more than I want to see like Jodorowsky's Dune.
I want to see The Rock's Conclave.
Yeah.
Sounds like one of the most disgusting.
Me banging on the gates of the Vatican.
Yeah. Give me the yoked Pope. I refuse.
The young Pope, the new Pope, the yoked Pope.
Yeah. A single eyebrow raises out of the chimney on the Vatican. They're like, oh God, they've elected a new Rock.
I wonder who the most recently jacked Pope was, because there's got to be an answer, right? There must have been at least one. There's been like 500 popes.
The most recently jacked Pope is the Pope who starts at the gym today.
The motivational poster.
The Vatican gym.
Yeah. I mean, we basically do have that's more or less Santa Claus in this movie is the yoked Pope.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Well, no, Santa Claus isn't the Pope. Santa Claus is the president of Christmas.
Yeah, that's right. He has a motorcade.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the thing. The thing about the first act of this movie, is that I was expecting it to be bad, like a bad movie. I wasn't expecting it to be like evil. And it kind of is, because it very strongly makes the proposition. Well, it does two things, first of all. It does a mall scene, which could have been written by Saeed Qutb. And then it yokes Santa and his sled firmly to the US Air Force.
Yeah. US Navy fuming.
The reindeer themselves, to me, seem like they play the role of like F-35s in this film. The way that they basically come in and more or less save Christmas by doing a sort of festive bombing run.
Yeah, the Joint Strike Reindeer. I mean, fucking the North Pole's economy has been ruined, the amount that they've thrown at those reindeer. But I mean, I want to talk about this.
They don't take off in the rain.
I want to talk about this mall scene as well, because like there's a prologue scene with like young protagonist. It's not important, right? He doesn't believe in Santa. Who cares? But we go to like modern day Santa, who is at this mall, and everyone here, apart from like a handful of kids, is a different kind of cunt, and none of them understands the true meaning of Christmas.
And this is a problem that is solved essentially with what I can only describe as operators.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, right, there's various kinds of irritants from woman who complains that they're sold out of essential oils to
well, you
Twitch.
need those. That's why they're essential.
Well, exactly. To Twitch streamer. And I am kind of glad that Twitch streamer has made it into the canon of just like guys who are annoying. I really think this is the Rock's card counter. If we're just like aping movies. But yeah, so Santa is like doing more Santa shit, and The Rock is his bodyguard. And this is, I guess, conceptually funny to be like the Secret Service guy for Santa.
They should fuck. It should be like The Bodyguard.
That's true.
That's
just
my
like
note on the
princess
movie.
carrying Santa. Yeah. He has to like intimidate. I'm not even sure what specific. This isn't like a specific Twitch streamer, just like annoying Twitch streamer, like combination Mr. Beast, Logan Paul.
And basically the idea is, Santa is, as you say, the president of Christmas and needs president style security from SEAL Team Christmas.
Yeah, Elf Team 6.
Yeah, well, they are called Elf. That's the other thing, by the way. With all that, like the fact that the security squad is called Elf, and it's an acronym, obviously, and with the way that they talk, and the fact that half the time they will cut off swearing, like with like a TV turning off or whatever, and half the time they won't. That sometimes the guns are like, oh, this is just a gun that makes you kind of fall sort of asleep, and other times it's like, oh yeah, we regularly dismember people. Who is this movie for?
The whole family to enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm reliably informed.
It feels like it's for adults, but who've had a brain injury. Like it can't, for the reasons you've outlined, it can't be for children. There's too much in it that children wouldn't understand insofar as it can be understood.
If you tried to rehabilitate me from a brain injury by showing me this, I would give myself another one.
Yeah, you'd be like, send the pencil back up my nose. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm doing dehab to myself at that point. Like I'm actively trying to make myself worse.
Yeah, like so this the broad story of it's basically like the standard like Santa is missing and then sort of turns into Olympus has fallen towards the end. But the basic plot is there is Chris Evans, by the way, I guess any movie Chris Evans is in will have CGI generated sort of leather effect looking costumes and like people firing laser balls at each other in otherwise pitch black surroundings.
And no, British listeners, not that Chris Evans. That would have made this a much more fascinating movie.
No, I mean, this is the thing. It's got a weirdly like star-studded ensemble cast, every single one of whom is phoning it in like long distance.
Yeah.
Lucy Liu is in this. Yeah. Like may as well be calling in from Skype the amount she gives a shit about this movie. Like this is functionally, I think we can interpret this as a financial instrument that serves as a Christmas bonus for actors.
Look, to be fair to Lucy Liu, I think some of that might be Botox.
I mean, that too. Yeah.
So it's not worth it sort of following the plot closely, but I picked this up the most at the end of the movie, obviously, when they save Santa Claus and The Rock then says to Nick the following exchange: "Nick, are you okay?" Before J.K. Simmons utters the unforgettable line, "Yeah," before then saying, "What took you so long?" And then The Rock saying, "We got held up." And then look what the cat dragged in to his brother Krampus, who comes in and saves him, who then says, "Merry
like
Christmas."
a big demon.
Who then says, "Merry Christmas, brother." This exchange could have been written by not even ChatGPT, by like GPT-2, the one from 2018. It is just a list of cliches.
I mean, I will say, you mentioned further to my thing about the cast, J.K. Simmons is Santa. Also, for some reason, they almost never call him Santa. They like keep calling him Red, which I guess is meant to be his like Secret Service code name. But it really feels for the bulk of the movie like they didn't have the rights to Santa Claus, which is conceptually a really funny thing to be like, we no permission from the Santa estate to do this. They're very litigious.
The Turkish government wouldn't give it to them.
Yeah.
Eric Adams was involved.
They explicitly clearly identify him with Saint Nicholas of Myra, which means J.K. Simmons is playing a Turkish dude here.
Yeah. Well, that's why he keeps dangling Christmas in front of you and then snatches it away. I need to dangle it again.
So, you know who also is in this movie? Nick Kroll. Yeah, the son of the guy who owns the global private security agency Kroll.
Cool.
In this.
Kiernan Shipka, who was the daughter in Mad Men, is in this.
Yep. And of course, the son of the sort of human protagonist working with the semi-supernatural Rock is played by none other than Wesley Kimmel, the son of Jimmy Kimmel.
That's cool.
Wow.
So it's a kind of like Nepo Baby employment program.
If you're Jimmy Kimmel, you can't be calling your kid Wesley.
Wesley Kimmel.
Well,
It's too, like, it works for like a type of guy, but not for the son of Jimmy Kimmel.
The son of Jimmy Kimmel was like a sort of like real deep bargain basement horror movie.
Yeah.
Son of Kimmel, bride of Kimmel.
Yeah.
Can you tell that we're struggling here because this movie fucking sucks?
No, we're doing work to rule. Like, we have to work today, but we don't want to. So we're phoning it in the same way Lucy Liu and The Rock and so on are in this movie.
We are simulating for you the experience of watching Red One.
Yeah, I mean, I feel genuine spite for having seen this.
I'm so sorry. Look, so the basic outline of the story is that it revolves around Chris Evans as the adult version of the cynical kid who doesn't like Christmas, who's there as the kind of foil for the moralizing point that J.K. Simmons as bored but yoked Santa makes, which is, of course, the naughty list is getting very big to his friend The Rock, who's having a crisis of faith in Christmas because too many people are naughty every year.
Yeah, The Rock wants to retire from being Secret Service because the naughty list is now like longer than the nice list, and adults all care about things like essential oils or streaming, and not about the true meaning of Christmas, which is shopping, but not for essential oils.
Yeah,
because essential oils are like girl coded.
Do you think that maybe Chris Morgan, the writer of this movie, hired like Bill Hicks to sort of consult on all of the stuff that he hates? You know,
It does have something of that about it. Like the Syed Kutub joke, obviously, Syed Kutub, very, very strong believer in the true meaning of Christmas. But like every single time, this movie is like, oh, people are so like unkind to each other and like so rude and mean. And then it doesn't really develop that other than to go, but you know what the real shit is like toys and buying toys.
Yeah.
Here's a really long shot of a PS5.
Yeah. And adults don't buy toys anymore. That's the problem.
The autistic community single-handedly with the Lego group dragging that average up.
Yeah, The Rock is like this universe's equivalent of a climate scientist in this. He's like, look, guys, we've only got 10 years of nice list left. Look at it. At this rate, I can't stand by anymore.
I mean, in fairness, like climate justice heavily correlated with niceness. So maybe he's onto something. Plus, he works at the North Pole. Like, strong incentive to decarbonize.
Yeah, exactly. And Santa is a freak for real for wanting to know where all the naughty girls at.
So the Rock wants to quit because he's having a crisis of faith, not in Christmas, but in the institution, making him he's essentially Cardinal Lawrence, but in...
This is the other thing about this being the Rock's conclave, is that Santa is simultaneously the president of Christmas and Jesus, right? And I have nothing against a secularized Christmas
Jesus
movie.
is the president of Christmas.
Well, literally, right? But like, it's written and filmed exactly like a crisis of faith, but the faith is in non-denominational toy purchases. And while I know that's nothing new, it's kind of really funny to be like, the job's fucked. It's not what it used to be. And what the job is like buying Hot Wheels cars from stores.
Well, I guess his job that he's not able to do anymore. And I think one of the reasons why this movie is so strange is that something like, people aren't nice anymore, they've forgotten the reason for the season. That stakes make sense if you are having a whimsical film about magic and so on. But if it's like, people aren't nice anymore, they've forgotten the reason for the season, that's why I'm no longer able to do my job pulling people's heads off for Santa. It seems a little bit odd.
Why does Santa have door kickers? I mean, we find out why. It's because Santa is constantly under threat from the enemies of Christmas. But Santa's
like the herds. Like, no one wants him to have his homeland. You know, he's beset on all sides by enemies. Yeah, like, he receives insufficient help and assistance from various allied powers.
Couple of podcasters going over to fight for Santa.
Yeah, so
Brace Belden, armed with a fucking candy cane in the trenches of Lapland.
Santa says, if nothing matters to the grown-ups, then it seems to me they need us more than ever. We know inside every lost grown-up is the kid they once were.
This is a movie that has a Rock'em Sock'em Robots tie-in, by the way, with CGI Rock'em Sock'em Robots. So that's the reason for the season.
Yeah, the reason for the season is Hot Wheels, Chrysler automobiles.
Mm-hmm.
The entire Chrysler group, because a Mustang is also included. The game Monopoly, even though it's not used. Because Monopoly and Rock'em Sock'em Robots are both Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
Any case, so this is yes, I say this is the Rock having crisis of faith. Conclave and the city itself, the city of the North Pole, as Santa is kidnapped and the sort of the team of dark operators takes him out.
The kind of anti-Christmas Black Ops unit, which is a tissue of bullshit over tactical stuff unseen since the last Call of Duty. I would love to be in the tier 1 vaguely evil unit, right? the guys who, like, you know, we have all of this shit and we use it mostly to just like fuck around in a sort of vaguely antagonistic way. Our values, interference mainly.
You know what I have written down in my notes here is this kind of like evil only makes sense in the Venture Brothers, which contains the Guild of Calamitous Intent.
God, you're so right. They're they're doing Nemesis shit.
Yeah, they're it's just they accidentally created an amazing Venture Brothers.
They're arching Santa.
Yeah,
losing a helicopter during a top secret incursion into Finnish airspace.
But they have, what I realized as I was watching this is I kept not understanding who it was for, because I've realized what they accidentally did was make a pretty good Venture Brothers episode instead of a Christmas movie.
Yeah, needs a bunch of like weird references to David Bowie sprinkled over it, but otherwise pretty solid. The other thing about this, right, is that as you say, like the North Pole is a like concealed city with Santa's workshop and shit. Yeah. And one of the things that I note here is, so the like team of door kickers are called ELF, like ELF. That's the like joke there. Is
their 3-letter acronym name, yeah.
Yeah, they're ostensibly elves, except there are also elves. Like there's actual elves. There's just sort of like an elf species who are like non-verbal and are possibly Santa's slaves.
That would be like a group of elite killer seals with the name acronym human, essentially.
Yeah, more or less. Or not even human, because it's like strictly like worker. So it's like SEAL Team 6 being named Amazon delivery driver.
Yeah. But also the other thing I think is I noticed about the whole Santa's Workshop thing, like to make a Christmas movie about operators that is essentially like, just as the Marvel movies were a gloss on, you know, like the American Empire and different eras of American Empire, and the superheroes basically standing in for above the law teams of, you know, various sorts of operators connected with like 3-letter agencies, right? Yeah. To then put a Christmas gloss on that is so uncanny. But the even more uncanny element was that the Santa's Workshop bit is very clearly modeled on Neon. Like very obviously it's modeled on Neon.
I mean, I kind of like failed to process any information about it, in that like the North Pole City was so visually uninspired that there was like no semantic content to it. It's literally like there's very, very little there. One thing that there is there though is there's a CGI polar bear guy. He's like a polar bear door kicker, which is something that I hate to say it, but like the Philip Pullman adaptations did better. Like, and if you're getting mogged by like 2000 and something's polar bear CGI, that's not a great sign.
No,
because this was, they started principal photography, or quote unquote photography, in this film in 2022, right?
Yeah, they opened an Adobe session in 2022.
Yeah. Principal CGI was commenced.
Yeah. Well, I think that this is one of the first big budget movies, and my God, the budget was big, to use. You can see quite a bit of evidence of AI being used in a lot of the effects. Just like nothing has very clean lines. lines. Everything's very dark. Things are, if you watch closely, you'll see like bits of the Christmas city kind of blurring into one another. Like this is not a very well, if the Marvel movies are often terribly made because they have like underpaid graphics designers working sort of, horrible hours, and they just don't do much quality control in them because it never mattered, right? This is like a step beyond in terms of wretched CGI. It looks worse than Polar Express, and it can only be described as every scene that isn't just like walking across a street being shot in the dead or being set at the dead of night so that you can't see anything.
It's so fucking dark. You have to be so close to the screen to discern what's going on. Like I was making sausage rolls, so I'm like 4 feet away from my laptop, and I keep looking around and going like, what the fuck is going on right now? I'm having to determine it. It's a great movie for the blind. I'll say that, because you're getting so close to the sighted people's experience of watching the movie.
Red One, they could have called it Dark Smudge One. People.
Do you want to do some John Wesley bits?
Yeah, no. So this is the basic sort of setup, right? Is that after giving there's a little bit of good in everybody speech that was written from ChatGPT, J.K. Simmons finished his half day of acting.
Yeah.
I think based on how he delivered the lines, and I like J.K. Simmons as an actor. Don't fault him for any of this. You have a tax bill. I don't know. Collect your money, do your thing.
J.K. Simmons, good luck with your divorce.
Yeah, you can see a lot of people get paid by watching this movie, and that's that is the spirit of Christmas in some ways.
Yeah, they're going to be able to non-denominationally purchase toys.
That's true. That is true.
They should just have picture-in-picture footage of J.K. Simmons driving a Lamborghini, the Rock in the Maldives, stuff this is where all the money really went. For this movie.
The line that sticks with me, I don't remember where I heard this, but it changed completely my way of thinking and being. Was some actor or other saying they don't have a film critic at the Lamborghini dealership, right? And this is a movie made in deep accordance with that principle, right? The other thing that I wanted to say, right, is it is crazy how much this movie presents Santa's whole deal as being facilitated by the US military.
Okay, go into it. Speak on it.
Because he gets out of this mall where everybody's talking about essential oils and gets a military escort in a motorcade, like a presidential motorcade, except
the US government only considers one oil to be essential, Santa.
it's like
tons of it in the Levant.
It's like a presidential motorcade, except all the cars are white, which a white limo, one of my Liberace's fucking boyfriend. But so they drive onto an Air Force base, and Santa gets a salute from an Air Force general. There's a bunch of Humvees lined up, and he gets the sled gets cleared for takeoff by the Air Force and escorted out of US airspace by a couple of fighter jets.
Amazing.
And I'm like, what? This is like when you see the flyover at football games or whatever, and you're like, what? Why? What? Sorry? Aren't these currently being used to commit war crimes? It's like tinsel washing or something. Snow washing.
They should have had a shot of him being shot down by the IDF. That would have been good.
Santa gets folded into the Air Force command structure. Is he one of the joint chiefs?
Well, that's why NORAD has him on the radar every year. I mean, IDF pilot painting a little Santa sled and 8 little reindeer silhouettes on the side of the plane under the canopy.
If anything, it should be the Turkish Air Force escorting him anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Istanbul's always the first stop, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Eric Adams should have had a cameo in this movie.
But so Santa gets fucking kidnapped, right? Olympus has fallen.
Santa is the mayor of Christmas.
Yeah, he is.
It's kind of true, yeah. No Santa's, no Christmas. But so Santa gets kidnapped because grown-up Chris Evans steals some fucking data or something from a lab. We do this in order to get a scene of him doing the world's easiest and dumbest heist and literally taking candy from a baby because he's a bad dude. He's got a fucking terrible Boston accent the whole time.
Well, I wouldn't say the whole time, because he does forget to do it 30% 90% of the time.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you're like, it's not like performance scaled pay for this. I think he's like, yeah, sure, fucking Wicked, The Departed.
If they tried to kidnap Santa and I was there, it would have gone down a little differently.
Oh my God, Santa's been wicked kidnapped.
Santa Claus.
Okay, November, you sound like an older Jewish woman from Long Island.
yeah. Sorry, that went a bit like New York instead of Massachusetts.
Just to try and cancel Christmas in Southie.
Christmas is canceled everywhere but here. We have Boston Irish Santa.
Just Matt Damon and Ben Affleck spending a beautiful Christmas together. That is the spirit of Boston Christmas, I think.
Yeah. So, I think, again, like, in terms of films made as financial instruments, like, this could have been a producer's, and we have so many films of the producers now, is what I feel. Like, there are, I see so many movies get made that it's like, oh, yeah, no, you're doing the producers here right now.
So Chris Evans gets black bagged by Lucy Liu, who is in charge of the like wizard CIA. Artemis founded it better, right? As a testament to how bored I am at this point, you get quite a like kind of like dommy Lucy Liu doing CIA extraordinary rendition shit, and I'm still bored. Should not be possible. No. But so they do like her deal is that this is also fascinating, like politically, right? She's the director of Mora, the Mythological Oversight and Restoration Authority, which is like I don't know. But she describes it as a multilateral like agency that protects the mythological, right? And I'm just thinking about the kind of international relations implications of like considering how fucked the non-secret multilateral organizations are, how absolutely exponentially more fucked a secret one would be. Russia invades Ukraine, all of a sudden Baba Yaga's hut is like kicking around Alaska for some reason.
We're primarily responsible for two things: making sure that young children believe in Santa and making sure that older children believe that Marilyn Manson had a rib removed so he could suck his own dick. That's what we do here.
Equal miss.
Yeah. You smoothly transition from one to the other.
Getting their parents to believe in the Richard Gere gerbil story.
Yeah. It's very important for the balance of world power that the majority of people across 3 different age bands believe one of these 3 age band targeted stories. Look, an AI told us to do it.
What kind of overarching ideology should that be?
I think a lot of international multilateral institutions, they're like, oh yeah, everyone gets equal partners, World Bank, IMF, but everyone knows it's really just American, so it's not like the Danes have like a huge amount of weight in the multilateral fucking mythological organization.
We actually have a strong claim on Santa due to the territory of Finland. We are always consulted on any matters concerning Santa Claus and his workshop.
Doing a parallel BRICS mythology agency dealing with Brazilian folklore.
A caked up Santa and his huge ass.
There actually is a shout out to Brazil in this movie. Like there's a montage of Santa delivering gifts and he kicks a little Brazilian football under a Brazilian kid's Brazilian Christmas tree.
Yeah, because if you're not in America, then you like to have country specific stuff. Like America gets the general stuff and then everyone else gets like, country labeled stuff.
I'm so often thinking about my national characteristics that I have.
Yeah. So he gets, as you say, black bagged by the Christmas CIA.
I would hate for this to happen to me. They were just trying to deliver a bunch of presents to Patrice Lumumba. Things got badly out of hand.
But you always loved bombs.
Yeah. But I got him all these bullets. No.
What are I'm asking you a question here. Child soldiers or elves? Maybe we were the prejudiced ones.
Yeah, the church committee's findings after the Bay of Pigs ended up curtailing quite a few of the Christmas CIA's activities, and they stopped they had to disband the Christmas CIA after that and mostly just do regular spying.
Yes, so few people go to church committee on Christmas anymore. It's like really like secularized.
The man on the grassy knoll covered in tinsel to disguise himself.
The thing that we've got to get out of this scene is The Rock and Chris Evans have to end up working together even though they don't like each other. The way they get there is that they have him tortured by the sentient bear.
They basically like waterboard him with eggnog, which is a lot of what watching this movie is like.
Imagine there's a scene with a man being tortured by a bear and November is bored.
It's true. Crazy.
Yeah.
Lucy Liu's there. I'm just like...
Lucy Liu's there. She's wearing a sort of sharp jacket and being very severe. And because
I'm
of the...
bored.
You're bored.
What the
How
fuck is
on
wrong
earth?
with me?
Yeah. So they essentially have to then do a bunch of video game levels in order to find the antagonist.
Yeah, it's next location.
Yeah.
And next location is Aruba. So
Why
they have to get
Aruba?
because the cast wanted to go to Aruba.
The natural enemy of Christmas, the Dutch.
So like the hot Dutch, like the Dutch, but everything is hot.
They don't acknowledge Santa Claus in the Netherlands. They have their own mascot.
Legally, this is not a claim that I'm making about Rowan Atkinson's tax affairs, right? But the same reason every Johnny English movie is filmed or has like a bunch of scenes in one specific hotel in the south of France is, I would suggest, to subsidize a Rowan Atkinson holiday to that hotel every few years, right? So on the same basis, why is this Christmas movie that's so perfunctory and so CGI actually physically filmed in Aruba? I suspect the answer is because The Rock and Chris Evans wanted to go to Aruba.
Yeah. Where they then hang out with Nick Kroll, who has upwards of 9 lines.
It's true.
Yeah.
After the visit to Aruba and when they're going Santa Claus's brother, they used to work together, but they fell out. I'm like fingers crossed as well to Pete. Come on, let's bring it in. Let's tie it all together.
The sole Dutch contribution to the multilateral mythological organization.
It's like Jake Kasdan, are you a coward or are you a real writer?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of tins of shoe polish locked in a vault like Control.
At the end of the movie, the post-credit
An
scene.
object of white power.
At the end of the movie, the post-credit scene, they open it up and they're like, maybe next time.
I genuinely expected a mid and post-credit scene from this movie, and it actually didn't give me either. It's the sole kind of mercy, for the season that it gives me is that it doesn't have Santa getting recruited into the Avengers.
Yeah, like with what, the fucking Wolfman?
The end of the movie is it's just completely black and you can hear the sound of clogs on the floor and you're confused and then just suddenly a pair of eyes blink open and then it's like credits.
Yeah. So the other thing is the fight to get to Nick Kroll, the guy who was the middleman who bought the data from him, again, is like, I asked who this movie is for because it's like, gigantic boobed models standing around Nick Kroll, like, basically like with the camera, like, sticking on them for a while, and a bunch of people getting kicked in the dick. It forgets to be like a kid's Christmas movie for like 2 minutes.
I think it's
like,
genuinely trying to like be all things to all men, and on that basis, we now have a fight scene ripped from Ant-Man, because The Rock's deal is that he can like shrink really small and then get big again by with his Christmas magic. I guess this is also an elf joke, and it fucking sucks. If you've seen Ant-Man, you've seen everything that happens in this.
I'll tell you the other scene that they have taken that reminded me of watching a better movie is when Chris Evans, again, who's a computer hacker but who starts being able to fight like some roided up snowmen.
As if someone from Boston would know how to use a computer.
Yeah, so a roided up snowman. Chris Evans kills him, or tries to kill one by shoving his face into a hot grill. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember that scene from The Raid 2. What a better movie. That was such a better movie than this.
Shark Salat combos to the roided up stuff. The phrase roided up snowman is in itself quite funny because it implies there's a kind of purity of snowmanness, like the traditional 3 balls type body figure of a snowman. That's natural snowman. Whereas like if you're cut, if you're like ripped, you're on the roids.
Well, they've got huge snowballs on their biceps, but then if you look down, there's only the tiniest little lumps of coal in their groin. That's how you know they're on steroids.
It's really emotionally labile as well. Yeah.
More dick kicking occurs with the snowmen, but then the big joke is that it doesn't have any effect.
Frosty the Dickless Snowman.
I was, quite surprised. So they then again, because now this movie, until it gets to the climax, is going to be going to a series of green
next
screens.
locations. Next location. And
the logic here then is presumably that the snowmen are scheming eunuchs.
Yeah, of course.
By the way, the reason why the snowmen are here is because we introduce our villain, who is the like kid from Mad Men, who is this Icelandic Christmas witch.
Mm-hmm.
I know Iceland. Listen, Iceland has been dropping the ball in the mythological fucking Interpol, you know, because this was their one thing. It was that and the like elves, you know, the Icelandic elves, not the rock elves. And they have fucked this one because she is like going to try and ruin Christmas.
At Christmas time, we're mostly focused on providing frozen food for everyone via the Kelikatona range. But you're right, this is the same accent as before. We've not changed the accent from Denmark.
Just the Icelandic, like, mythological guy getting hyper fixated on Eurovision and completely dropping the ball.
Yeah, our villain, if our motivation for like our heroes could have been written by ChatGPT, which is I've lost faith in the institution of Christmas, the villain's motivation of I'm actually trying to make the world much better with harsh methods, and I'm gonna like, you know, basically fuck with everybody who's ever been, you know, double parked.
She's like, again, Christmas has gone woke.
Yeah, and it means, Christmas has gone woke. Yeah. Santa used to be able to kill you, and now nothing.
She represents the Daily Telegraph reader constituency.
Yeah. So they then go to Krampus's house, which again felt equally jarring. Like, Krampus lives in like a version of the North Pole in Germany. He doesn't go out and do anything. He mostly does slap fighting in a castle.
Yeah, but like Krampus is played by the big guy from Game of Thrones. Not that big guy, the other big guy, the big Norwegian guy from Game of Thrones.
And he's like
fucking whatever.
Yeah, but Krampus is also Eastern European, which is why he's into slap fighting. That much does make sense. That very much does hail from Russia. So Krampus being Russian sort of makes sense.
Yeah. So place to place to place to place.
Krampus is doing Krampus stuff in his Krampus house.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a Krampus hype house situation.
Yeah.
Sort of like
it's got a bunch of like orbiters.
Krampus has a bunch. Krampus has like fake friends who just like hang out in his house.
It's a Jake Paul of Christmas.
True, yeah.
And, you know, I don't know what it is that they need from him, although apparently the jurisdiction of the multilateral organization does not extend to the domain of Krampus.
Yeah, because of treaty obligations, the international relations in this universe. Just like, I got my PhD paper on some of the implications of that treaty, you know?
Yeah, they're just like, well, you know what? Sometimes you got to break international law to save Christmas. Let's go, operators.
Issuing an international arrest warrant for the Krampus.
Deniable Christmas operator. If you can drag him over the border into Luxembourg, we can arrest him.
Yeah. Well, so what happened is Grilla, the Christmas witch, is a kind of Christmas salafist. And if we're going to stop... If the U.S. is going to be able to stop Christmas salafism from spreading, we admit that we had a role in kicking it off. But if Santa's going to stop Christmas salafism from spreading, then it needs to be able to pick and choose which international laws it follows. That's all I'm saying.
Operation Snow Globe.
She's trying to start Christmas ISIS.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing this like big climactic bit of The Good Shepherd, and it's Matt Damon as a 50s CIA guy pushing a woman off Santa's sled to her death.
So anyway, this is Chris Evans, of course. At this point, he's grown fond of The Rock, and he's like, The Rock looks like he's in trouble, but he's like, no, I'm gonna Callum Drift. We've now said his whole name this entire movie.
His name is Callum Drift. Oh, by the way, Chris Evans is also a shit dad to Jimmy Kimmel II.
He's bad dad to Jimmy Kimmel II. And the other hilarious thing, right, is Chris Evans has never been a dad to Jimmy Kimmel II. Jimmy Kimmel II has a guy who has raised him with the waitress from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who's a doctor.
Yeah, he's got the dad who stepped up.
Yeah. So essentially, the other thing that I noted at this point, right, is when Chris Evans realizes that he needs to be a better biological father to his kid, who's raised by the waitress from It's Always Sunny and another unnamed guy who is acts as his actual father. And then the whole conceit, though, is that this kid does not care about his adoptive father at all. He doesn't care if the adoptive father is at his jazz recital. He only cares if the deadbeat dad, who sees him once every month, like tries to pay attention to him. Yeah.
This kid is like Don Jr. It's incredible. He's desperate to be loved by this father, but he just won't give it to him.
Yeah. So anyway, the North Pole gets taken. Chris Evans and Wesley Kimmel get imprisoned in snow globes by Grilla, which he wants to do to everybody in the world.
The snow globe is called the Glaskäfig, like the glass cage, except nobody fucking pronounces it even close to right. It's like really, it's like it's a different wrong thing every time, and it's like
and they mutter the word each time as well, so it's hard to hear.
It's German for like a glass cage, and the German is sinister. But like Krampus used to date the Christmas witch, which
again, who's this for?
It's complicated.
It's really heavily implied that she was the top in that relationship as well.
Yeah. So they realize, oh my God, Santa never got extracted from the North Pole. He's been hidden in his old house that's now a museum exhibition around what apparently has been some kind of AI-driven industrial revolution at the North Pole. And her plan is to do the Christmas run to deliver all of the bad kids, all the bad people, the things that will trap them forever. Christmas salafism. And
was that the plan of non-Christmas salafism? I don't remember that one. Even at his most depraved, I don't remember Osama bin Laden trying to trap every non-salafist on Earth in a fucking snow globe.
Imagine if Al Qaeda had done that.
Yeah, I mean, hard to argue with, just on a physical level, he'd be in a snow globe.
Everyone in the World Trade Center just received a snow globe and opened it and like, what is this?
I guess I mean like sort of a return, an atavistic return to first principles at any cost.
A second sleigh has struck the North Star.
Now that is a merch idea. Trash future snow globes of the Twin Towers with a reindeer sled crashing into them, like snow and tinsel billowing out of them.
That would cost so much money. That's what we would do with the budget of this film, is we would put it all into snow globes.
Yeah, we would call Monster Press and be like, guys, can you do snow globes?
And they would be like, no. And we would go, do you have a lead on a snow globe guy?
What if we bought your company and retooled it as a snow globe manufacturer?
Yeah, the budget that not only destroys our small business, but also their small business.
Yeah. So, any case, they realize, right, that they've been chasing fucking Grilla and Santa all over the world, and they're like, oh God, all of those holiday destinations and then CGI generated places that we wanted to go. She was never in any of them. Chris Evans is missing his son's jazz recital, which I guess does this mean that J.K. Simmons' character in Whiplash also exists in this movie?
I really hope so. But I mean, fuck, J.K. Simmons' character in Burn After Reading arguably exists in this movie.
Probably has a relationship with Christmas stuff.
Yeah, he works in the Christmas CIA, and he's like at the end of this is what have we learned? I'm fucked if I know what we did.
Yeah, I find out. Oh God, Christmas. Yeah, Saint Nick is being held in the old workshop. They figure that out because they're like, oh, they do Terminator 2, which is they ask a shapeshifter a question it would get wrong, which is what kind of cookies are you making for Santa? And then they're like, yeah, the North Pole has been taken, which is I didn't predict that one, but I feel like I should have.
Yeah, this would have been better with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. That's what you're making me think now.
Well, that's kind of true, because like the reason why the Arnold Schwarzenegger stuff like Kindergarten Cop is like enjoyable is because he did a lot of like really straight-laced action movies with like precious little irony in them. Whereas The Rock kind of mostly does irony now. It's kind of like you need the mix is off there, you know?
Yeah, well, the reason that The Naked Gun is a funny action movie is that Leslie Nielsen never cracks a smile or makes a joke. He is completely straight the whole time, right? It's the exact same thing. But it's why like none of The Rock action comedies ever work, is that he's not willing to commit to, if this is going to be silly, I have to look like I believe it, not like I look like, yeah, I know this is dumb too. Then it's just, that is low rent.
Which is weird because it's something he used to be really good at. Anyway, Anyway, Chris Evans and Jimmy Kimmel II get imprisoned in the fucking quantum dimension.
They're there with Lex Luthor.
Yeah, it's like I badly don't care at this point. But they escape through the power of Christmas because Chris Evans is like, actually, maybe I do care about being a biological father, and that like the power of love breaks him out of the thing.
Why does it break out the kid? Why does it break out the son? What does the son do other than just? How does he become not naughty?
It liberates him from the like kind of spiritual oppression of being descended from Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. He accepts the boundless light of Christmas.
That's right.
The Rock frees like the various elf dipshits, including the polar bear. There's a fight scene. It plays out like every Marvel movie, complete with the like climactic fight, but not so fast because actually she's got a second form that's bigger and scarier and kind of monstrous.
Yeah, and then someone you thought was an enemy earlier comes along as a friend. It is
just a fucking Thor: Love and Thunder, like with worse music. It
is a reskin of a Marvel movie with it's even to the extent that I
installed this film off the Steam Workshop is how much this is a reskin.
They should have had Captain Price and fucking Soap McTavish come in at the end and be like, we've been sent in to save Christmas.
That would have been better.
We've had a sweep round TK Maxx and we've picked up a scented candle for every aunt in Great Britain.
Yeah, and then they have to have the little fun scene at the end where the Chris Evans and Jimmy Kimmel Jr. get to go on the Christmas run, which again is shows Santa's sleigh as just like benefiting from many of the from like unmanned drone technology, from being able to wirelessly surveil.
It weirdly has like an AC-130 level in there. It's
Well,
I mean,
to the point where it gets refueled and reloaded in the air like an AC-130.
The thing is, right, this pays off a long baffling scene at the beginning where so the scene is fucking The Rock's character is resigning from Christmas, right? And Santa doesn't want him to go, but he respects his decision. Except this is happening entirely in Santa's bespoke massive gym where Santa is lifting and The Rock is spotting him. And it really makes a lot of hay out of ripped Santa. And this is why, I guess. It's genuinely uncomfortable. Like, to see J.K. Simmons in the Santa suit just, like, lifting.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable also to, see him, I would say, like, he's door kicker Santa. He's except for actually kicking the door, he is breaching, clearing, and infiltrating houses at great speed.
Rolls down my chimney and eats one of my Tannerite cookies.
Anything from in-air reloads, unmanned aerial vehicles, quite extreme surveillance. Like,
we are full spectrum Santa. It's
and then the Rock then believes in Christmas again because he doesn't see the naughty grown-up, but the nice child. And then Chris Evans goes back to how he was as a kid and is hanging out with his kid about how cool Christmas is again. And then I guess Christmas is saved by the power of the surveillance state.
Yeah, the CIA saves Christmas, kind of.
Yeah, well, hey, how are we left as viewers at the end of the film, other than confused and annoyed that the price of this is bundled with an Amazon Prime subscription?
Bad, I would say. I feel bad. I didn't enjoy watching this. You know that Celine Sciamma thing that's like, with me, you feel the time pass. I just took 2 hours of somebody's life. I wasn't expecting that from The Rock, but The Rock has taken 2 hours of my life.
Yeah. I mean, I feel as though if they want to redeem themselves for this movie, if the thesis of this movie is that the CIA is helping Santa, then there should be a follow-up JFK style movie where Jim Garrison is investigating the truth behind the Santa allegations. And he's like, now, the U.S. government would have you believe that Santa is brought about entirely as a coincidence between a number of hardworking Americans and their completely unthinking socioeconomic interactions. But I have evidence here in this here movie picture that, in fact, Santa Claus is real.
and he's gay. And he's gay in New Orleans.
And he's gay. Yeah, all the elves are gay.
Why is there product placement for Monopoly? Why is there product placement for Bullet Bourbon? Why is there product placement for the PlayStation 5? Why is there product placement for Hot Wheels? Why is there product placement for Rock'em Sock'em Robots?
I wish that more things were FOIA-able, because I want to see the chain of emails that led to Bullet Bourbon deciding to product place themselves in Red One.
I mean, it's really funny because that is the actual social niche of bourbon in general, is the PG version of someone who thinks they're like edgy and dangerous, which is what Chris Evans is playing in this movie. So it's perfect.
Yeah. If they wanted to make a real picture, they would have had him doing meth. He would have been meth. The meth head
like a Nazi fighter pilot.
Yeah, he would have been the fucking tweaker Bostonite who's been like hired, who's been paid in Bitcoin for Santa's location, and they have to team up with Svartapete to save him.
Oh, we're going to drop some Christmas presents down the chimneys of Coventry, all right? It's going to be a big job, but we're going to get it all done in one night.
Yeah. How do you think I visit 6 billion houses a year? Meth.
Wait. Santa was an Operation Paperclip hire. Like they had to the Nazis had advanced Santa technology. He was one of like the industrialists who was like rehabilitated. Like you shouldn't buy like a Braun toothbrush for that reason. Yeah, Weihnacht von Braun.
If you go on Santa's website, there's a little like history section, and for some reason it cuts out during the 30s and comes back in the 50s.
Yeah, well, no, it just says that all it says is that they regret what happened in the 30s, and then they mostly talk about their fight against communism. It's really weird.
Why is there a photo of him wearing a black Santa suit, and what is that emblem on the hat? Anyway. SS stood for Santa. So no one wants you to know.
Oh boy. I think we have talked about Red One for far too long.
I've thought about this movie far longer than I've ever needed to.
Yeah. Did we miss anything from your close reading?
Yeah, there's one thing that I wanted to talk about, which is in Santa's big motivational speech about the spirit of Christmas to The Rock. He says, you see who they really are down deep instead of deep down, which is so clearly like a thing that has been mistyped, and J.K. Simmons sells it, and they did not do another take. And that's my like point for the whole movie is someone, you know, who they are down deep.
He's like fucking Ron Burgundy. Like he reads whatever's on the teleprompter.
I'll tell you, it's the movie version of that is he's Seagal. He doesn't run the lines. He doesn't block the scene.
Why is Santa in a chair for most of this movie?
He doesn't run the lines. He doesn't block the scenes. He does one take only.
Why is Santa speaking in a kind of fucked up Cajun accent?
I'm gonna invite every little boy and girl in the world to a party with my kid.
All right, listen.
Let's show every little boy and girl in the world.
If there are competing power blocks in the mythological interpol, right, we need the Seagal Christmas movie. I badly need to see a very Seagal Christmas.
Where Santa gets kidnapped by North Korea.
Yeah, starring all of the like guys who went to Russia. It's got Gerard Depardieu in The Rock's role.
Yeah. So wait, hang on.
The Juche regime, they don't believe in Christmas.
Wait, no. Seagal is The Rock. Depardieu is Santa. Who are we filling Chris Evans with?
So Snowden.
Fucking Snowden, yeah.
More convincing hacker.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like someone doesn't know much about the real meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
And then, hang on, because also the other thing, like they'll usually get someone like Anthony Mackie, like to lend it like someone who's barely a C-list actor to lend it like something. So Anthony Mackie would be the head of the CIA in it, or the Christmas GRU.
Yeah. Lukashenko is Compass.
Yeah, and then
hello. You have forgotten the magical Christmas power of potato.
Day 1000 of the one-day special presents operation.
Yeah. And you know what? It would cost $100,000 to make. And it would look identical.
Oh, so cheap.
It would look the same. And it would be much better.
That we pitch stuff to what remains of the Russian cultural establishment. But guys, please, we're begging you.
You've got Seagal. Use him.
Krasnaya Adin.
Seagal will not accept that he's in a comic movie and that his role is played for laughs because he can't figure that out. His brain is impervious to understanding that he is a silly, ridiculous person. He will play The Rock's role 100% Leslie Nielsen straight. Swear to God.
I have secret weapon, powerful American actor, codenamed Chaika. He does everything from chair.
He is able to accomplish every feat of combat from sitting down. Imagine how bad if he stood up.
He is like Professor X. He does not need to get up from chair.
I really love the idea that the Russians are all in on Seagal out of a sunk cost fallacy.
They're going to deploy him to Ukraine.
Everyone agrees we should have got Van Damme. We have to admit, we backed wrong horse.
Van Damme is more mobile. We have seen him do splits in Coors Light commercial. Seagal could not do this. But also, Seagal, very good at squinting and saying barely intelligible words. So it's not all bad.
Seagal, incredible at Find Richie.
Is possible we could get Christophe Lambert, but no one can understand what he says.
All right. Well, we just pitched a better movie than Red One to a competing cultural block.
Yeah, give us the budget, and we'll go to Russia and make it.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go. Run, do not walk to go see Red 2, made by us, starring that group of people.
Santa's Workshop in Surgut.
Yeah, Santa's Workshop was actually a closed city. You know, it's got like a name and number.
Yeah. It's like an oil field next to it.
Yeah. It's in Magnitogorsk.
Santa's Workshop was sold off as part of voucher privatization.
Yeah, the guy that actually bought Santa's Workshop mostly traded jeans for it, and now he owns Chelsea Football Club. Yeah, it's crazy. He got sanctioned.
Santa killed with crossbow in sauna.
Yeah. Okay. Come on. This is such a better movie. This is such a better movie.
He's wearing red trousers, but like no jacket, just like hairy chest, like big Orthodox cross. He's like wearing sunglasses and driving a Mercedes, and he gets like blown up on his way to see his mistress.
All right.
Son of Santa.
Yeah.
Ivan Santovich, your father has been killed. You must take over family business.
Everyone knows the best time to sell a Christmas themed t-shirt is in January or February, depending on when we get around to it. So on that basis, I'm really feeling Russian Santa.
What if we do what if we just do a really long pre-order? Like a year pre-order. Yeah, like lock your money, like a fucking crypto coin. Lock your money up in the
it's
TF.
A stable store of value. It's more stable than fucking like Dogecoin.
Yeah, that's right.
Steven Seagal, Gerard Depardieu, Эдвард Сноуден. Компания Trash Future представляет Дед Мороз.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, we've got it. We've nailed it. Cut, print. We're making a movie. We're making a picture. All right. I think we're done here. I'm really excited to never think about the movie Red 1 again.
No, absolutely
never
not.
again. No, absolutely not.
Unless they make Red 2, in which case,
see it.
Don't threaten me with a bad time.
Gerard Depardieu.
I'm sorry, I love that. Please don't threaten me with a bad time.
Don't threaten me with a bad time. I think I'm just straightforwardly saying, because if I had a bad time, I wouldn't enjoy it. See you in 2025
Okay, bye everybody.
You absolutely nailed me. I don't want to have a bad time.
A little bit of end of year housekeeping. This is the last free episode we'll be recording this year. At the second half of this week, there will be the first half of a 2-hour Q&A session that we did, which was just a kind of pleasant, chilled vibe.
We ate a lot of cues.
We ate a lot of
a
cues.
Decent number of cues. So if you queued, decent chance we ate you.
Yeah, like 300 cues were submitted. So there's
we
maybe
did not ate that many cues.
No, we ate maybe 5% of the cues at
great length.
At great length. So there's that.
We ate the ones that compelled us.
Yes.
Yeah. Could have written a better cue.
Yeah. Secondly, the second half of that episode is going to be released on the premium feed the following Tuesday, because we're going to take that day off and unlock a bonus episode to the free feed. So yes, you will be getting the same number of hours of content, whether you're a premium or a free subscriber. It's just that's what it's going to look like. And then we're going to be returning to our regularly scheduled programming after that. So I think all that remains to be said is thank you for another year of doing this, with my good friends. It is a job I never thought I would have, and one that I really, really enjoy. So I want to thank all of you for making it all possible. We're excited to do it all with you again in 2020.
Live from Aruba.
2025.
That's our rider now.
Yeah. We're doing a tax break, a tax paid holiday episode to Aruba. We're going to be recording from there. It won't change much. It won't make it onto the show. We'll barely reference that we're there, but we will be there. Anyway, happy holidays. Yeah. Have a wonderful new year, and we will see you on the other side. Bye, everyone.
Bye.